Your jigging is up. No want to get along, eh? Now to face Maker! Gregor Smash! Who want more Gregor?
Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mangs, and I've lost my phone. Does anyone know what time it is?
It's Gregor time!
Oh, thank you. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs, and I welcome you guys to another Fire Emblem character spotlight. And today we are taking a look at one of my personal favorite units from Fire Emblem Awakening. This has been requested by a lot of people, so today we're taking a look at the one and only Gregor.
What fun!
Gregor is a sellsword for hire wandering between nations. We do not know exactly where he was born, but his accent is very unique and not heard from anyone else in the cast of Awakening. He is by far one of the oldest playable characters, not mentioning the Manikids, looking to be in his 40s, meaning he has lived a long life and probably traveled to many different continents. We do not know much about Gregor's origins, but we do know that he once had a brother, but that brother was kidnapped and killed by bandits some time back. Saddened by the fact that he was unable to save his brother, Gregor decided to take on his name as sort of a tribute, and that name was Gregor. This means that we actually don't know Gregor's real name, as he never tells it to anyone. Maybe he's even forgotten about it himself.
Do not forget Gregor!
At some point prior to the events of Awakening, Gregor traveled to the barbarian kingdom of Regnaferox and challenged Basilo to become the West Khan of the kingdom. The battle was very even and went on for some time, but in the end Basilo came out on top. Despite his loss, however, Gregor became very well known among the Feroxi for being the only man so far to match Basilo's strength, something Lonku points out and greatly admires in their support conversation. When the war between Elise and Plagia broke out, Gregor was hired into service by some rich Plagian merchants, but after seeing how downright evil and corrupt his new employers were, Gregor decided to break his contract and kill them instead. These employers were also the ones responsible for holding the Manakit Noe captive, and did questionable things with her, to say the least, judging by the outfit they dressed her up in. Upon freeing the young-looking Manakit, Noe ran away, only to be pursued by the fanatical Plagian worshippers of Grima, who wanted to sacrifice the dragon girl to their dark god. Gregor followed Noe through the Plagian desert in an attempt to protect her from harm, but because she believed him to be a common bandit due to his rugged face, she refused to let him help her and kept screaming so loud that she alerted the worshippers of Grima to their presence. Luckily for them, her screams also alerted Chrom's army, who was nearby, and as a result, they clashed with the fanatics, routing them and saving both Gregor and Noe from being killed. After convincing Chrom that he was no bandit, Gregor offered Chrom his services as a sellsword, and because he had seen him protecting Noe from the zealots, Chrom decided to hire him.
How much you pay?
I owe you.
Sometime later, Gregor convinced another soldier in Chrom's army, a Plagian dark mage by the name of Tarja, to summon the spirit of his dead brother so that he could ask for forgiveness. The spell worked as intended, and the spirit of Gregor's brother possessed Tarja, allowing the two to have a conversation. Gregor's brother immediately told him that there was nothing to forgive, and that Gregor should not be so hard on himself for not being able to prevent his death. As a result, Gregor was finally able to lay his shame to rest. Tarja was actually going to claim his soul as payment for the conversation, something Gregor was more than willing to accept for the chance of speaking to his brother again. But apparently, a part of her was moved by the whole ordeal, and she walked away from the bargain empty-handed. Gregor would later accompany Chrom and his army until the end of the war against Grima. After the war, Gregor would reportedly live a very good life with the money he earned fighting for Chrom, but he would occasionally take up work as a bodyguard whenever his money ran short.
Who want more Gregor?
Gregor is an old man, at least by Fire Emblem standards, and looks to be somewhere in his 40s, with a rugged appearance similar to that of your common brigand. His face shows off both wrinkles and battle scars, and his short, untidy, spiky hair is reddish-brown in color. He wears an olive green colored armor and is dressed in a traditional mercenary's garb. He stands taller than most other soldiers in Chrom's army, showing off a strong, sturdy build reflecting his martial past. Gregor is very odd. His accent is extremely weird, and his manner of speaking reflects one that is definitely not used to the common tongue of the land. While Gregor may come across as naive based on his almost childlike manner of speaking, he is far from stupid. In fact, Gregor displays an amazing sense of awareness in most of his support conversations, often noticing things that others try to hide from him. One of Gregor's most notable traits is his immense kindness and humility. In almost every single support conversation he has, he approaches with the intent of lending a helping hand, and while his methods may sometimes come across as a little bit awkward to the person he's speaking to, he always has the best intentions in mind. He truly has a heart of gold, which is very rare for a mercenary, especially one that has lived as long as Gregor has. Despite all of his kindness, Gregor has a very strict policy when it comes to money. He is a sellsword, and he does not fight for free. Often in his supports, when he is challenged to a sparring match, which happens quite a lot, he asks how much his opposition is willing to pay. This is a recurring theme in many of his supports, and even one of his battle quotes directly says,
How much you pay?
This does not seem to be connected to greed, however. In a support conversation with Lissa, Gregor mentions to her that he has many debts to pay, and that if he lost his steady source of income, he would be in a lot of trouble. This possibly hints that Gregor is a debt slave, but how he acquired this debt is a mystery. Gregor is a very perplexing and interesting character in that his initial appearance makes him come across as dumb and naive, but once you gleam beneath the surface, you see a man who displays tremendous wisdom, awareness, and empathy, hidden beneath a guise of childlike playfulness. Is it a purposeful ruse to disarm his opposition? It's difficult to know for sure, but one thing is certain: a man who's lived as long as Gregor has in his line of work must be doing something right.
Where is challenge?
Gregor joins your party in Chapter 8, and is the first mercenary to join your team. He is a very straightforward and simple unit that reflects the Ogma archetype. His base stats are solid, he has buttloads of hit points, very good strength, and can easily survive on the front lines thanks to his high defense. His skill is also extremely high, almost touching Myrmidon levels. He does, on the other hand, have pretty average luck and speed, and awful resistance, making him a sitting duck against enemy mages. Sadly, the chapter where he initially joins is crawling with Plaguean Dark Mages, so you need to be very careful, especially on higher difficulties.
This be trouble.
Gregor's patience skill makes him very good at handling large amount of foes on enemy phase, as he gets an avoidance and hit boost whenever he is attacked. His Armstrift skill also helps him preserve the usage of weapons, meaning you don't have to be afraid to give him some expensive weaponry like silver swords, as he'll make great use of them, even though his luck stat isn't fantastic. There are many ways you can reclass Gregor, as he can be both a mercenary, a Myrmidon, and a barbarian. Myrmidon might suit him better, as it gives him some extra speed to help him double, and thanks to his high skill, he'll make great use of skills such as Astra down the line, not to mention Swordfare, which will greatly boost his already high damage output. Keeping Gregor a mercenary and promoting him to hero, on the other hand, will give him a ton of sustainability on the front lines thanks to Sol, which he will regularly proc thanks to his high skill, and since he hits very hard, he will regain a lot of health this way. Just make sure the enemies going after him are enemies he can retaliate against. A promoted hero Gregor wielding a hand axe or a tomahawk can take on a very large amount of enemies at once thanks to patience and Sol, not to mention Armstrift, which will prevent his weapon from breaking mid-fights.
Gregor is on job.
Barbarian isn't a bad choice either, as his high skill will help him land difficult hits with axes. Picking up Axe Fair as a berserker can also be pretty valuable if you want Gregor to really wreck face. Overall, there are many viable routes to take, but on your first playthrough, it is advised that you keep Gregor in his original class.
Stay frosting.
As a father, Gregor passes down amazing physical strength and durability to his child. As long as his kid is a martial fighter, he or she will enjoy great hit points, strength, skill, and defense, though their speed will not be great. Just keep Gregor far away from any child you want to turn into a magic user, as his non-existent magic growth and lack of magic-based skills will not do the kid any favors. It is also worth noting that since Gregor passes down the male-only barbarian class to his kid, he will pass down the troubadour class instead if he is the father of a girl. At the end of the day, Gregor is a very simple but useful unit. If you need someone on the front lines who hits hard and can take a lot of beating, Gregor is your guy. Point him in the direction of anything you want dead, and he usually won't disappoint you. Well, as long as you pay him, that is. Take good care of this old grizzled veteran, and you will be sure to have a great Gregor time.
Much gratefulness.
Thank you for watching this character spotlight. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and a comment and subscribe for more content. I would also like to thank my designer Mina Tangerina as well as my script editors Nasiro and Nasagi for helping me with this spotlight. If there is a character you would like to see me cover in the future, let me know about it in the comments section below.